Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, what should you do before the Fed announcement? We're finally coming up to that point. I've been talking about it for quite some time. Wall Street has been speculating on what to do beforehand. What is Jerome Powell, going to do? Well, let's discuss. So, thanks for tuning in. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out all the latest news, article, and guides at CryptosRUs.com. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I should have put a poll out because it does seem like we have mixed feelings right now within the live chat. And I think most people are wondering what to do. Because, you know what, if Bitcoin was trending down still from 33 down to 30, I think that would give more confirmation of what people should do. But the fact that Bitcoin rose back up and is still staying up here, that's where it gets interesting. Remember, I said not to follow the herd. Do the opposite what the herd is doing, and that is to buy in DCA. And so far for the last 2 days, it worked out, right? But the true test will be tomorrow. However, I think some of you guys may have noticed, I talked about it this morning. Nasdaq, here's a better picture. Nasdaq had a horrific day today. Minus 315, down 2.3%. This is on top of all the sessions that it had already, all the sell-off sessions, right? Dow was in the green. It clawed back to the green, but, barely down, around even. But Nasdaq was down. And remember, I've been saying this correlation between tech and Bitcoin because the Wall Street traders are making them like the same category. However, Bitcoin rose up today while Nasdaq was dumping. So that's interesting, right? Does that mean Wall Street traders have already sold off all the Bitcoin that they bought previously? Does that mean that we have finally found that bottom right around 33,000 and we are ready to trend up? All the metrics showed that we are oversold. Very, very oversold. In fact, the same level as when Bitcoin fell down to 28,000. And if you look at the ratio, the downward percentage is nearly identical between the time when Bitcoin fell from 64 down to about 29 to 69 down to where it was at 33. I mean, you're looking at it, they're very, very, very similar. Very similar indeed. So it does seem like something's happening. Something's going on. There are a few that are starting to buy back in, right? More than just a few, but there are definitely a lot of buying going on. And altcoins have rallied a little bit today. But overall, Bitcoin dominance is still higher than normal. So I'm going to get to that a little bit. However, things are looking better, much, much better. So it does seem like many feel like tomorrow's announcement is not going to be as bad as everyone thinks. Because everyone was thinking that it's going to be a horrendous announcement where Powell has to be very, very, very hawkish. Yet all the indicators show that the economy is not as cooking as he has indicated before. So maybe he backs off. Maybe he steps down a little bit. Not super hawkish, but just in the middle, right? If that happens, well, we could see a significant rally up after announcement, which is around 2 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. Okay. Now, the other good news, and I mentioned this, over the weekend, look for earnings. Okay. Well, this is helping. Microsoft just announced after the bell, and they crushed it. They crushed it on all fronts, on their earnings, on their revenue, even their forecast going forward, because I think most people were concerned about the forecast, not Q4, because I think Q4, I think most people expected it would be good. But the forecast is what's important. And Microsoft even said forecast is good. So at the very beginning, when they reported aftermarket, Microsoft went down, but then all of a sudden people were like, oh no, what they said was actually good, and now they're up after hours, right? So this is also pretty good. Tomorrow we do have Tesla earnings also, and then the day afterwards we have Apple earnings. So all of these earnings could be good too, especially someone like Tesla, who seems to not have chip shortages. So their forecast could be tremendous. And same thing with Apple too. Apple is constrained by supply, but it does seem like they're still ramping up. So earnings so far right now, at least from one of the tech giants, is looking pretty good too. So this could also help calm some nerves. Okay, so bottom line is, what should you do before the Fed announcement? Well, you have three choices, right? You could continue to hold what you have. That's number one. And that's not a bad choice. Number two is you can sell off. You could sell off maybe a portion, a half, a third, right? Just to make cash on the side if you don't have cash. So if tomorrow ends up being worse than expected and the market tanks, you're able to buy back in, right? Or at least have that cash on the side. So that is an option. And that's not a bad option, but it's much better option than selling off completely. Because if you do that, and I created a video about this, many influencers recently have just sold out completely. The dangers of that is, if tomorrow we do have a rally, guess what? They all have to buy in at a higher price, which means the number of Bitcoin and number of Ethereum and number of altcoins that you originally had will be less because you're buying in at a higher price. So that's the danger, right? So if you're trying to be conservative and you want to prepare for what may be a very hawkish statement by Powell, well, then maybe sell off some and make sure that you have some cash on the side, right? So that's another option. And a third option is basically you sell it all, which I just mentioned is not, I think that's the worst option there is, right? So you could continue to hold, you could make some cash, or you could sell all of it, which you're really risking it, right? But you could argue if you hold, you're risking it too. But the thing is about holding, I think most of you guys know, if you're in the red, it's unrealized loss. You're not going to realize loss until you actually sell it. So there's always a chance to come back. And I've learned this the hard way because I've done this for many, many years, been in the same boat that you guys have been in. And, there's some tough choices sometimes, especially with volatility. And what I've learned is all the times when I try to outsmart the market by doing what some people are doing right now, it ended up costing me in some way. And I just went back, during crypto winter, I kind of calculated some of the trades that I've done, right? Even though they may have been in green, it was worse off than had I just held. So bottom line is, I've learned, don't try to outsmart the market. In most cases, you're going to lose. And the most profitable way to invest is simply by holding and having patience and holding some more. I mean, I've learned that the hard way. I've made so many mistakes, and so many people have also told me this. They're like, George, I traded. I did this and this and this. Some flat out just lost money. Some made money, but they're like, even though I made money, I calculated had I just held, I would have made more, right? I've heard that time and time again too. So three things that you could do before the Fed announcement. So you have to decide what's right for you. For me, I'm holding. I have not made any kind of sale. In fact, I've DCA'd. I've actually DCA'd more because I do think it's a good buying opportunity regardless if we go down or not. But that's just me. But you have to decide what you want to do, okay? Now, there's other good news right now. There's a lot of good news. Think about just a few days ago when it was all doom and gloom. And I know fear is still high, but there's just a lot more stuff that's happening right now to give you encouragement, right? I mentioned about this, how Bitcoin has decoupled from Nasdaq, right? Today is the very first day in a long time that has happened, right? We have seen how Nasdaq and Bitcoin has been correlated for quite some time. Today, the very first day, that is a sign. That is a sign. Also, I didn't want to show that. This one, this is looking at a fund rate of perpetual futures. So this basically measures how much it costs to hold a futures contract. And future contracts are the leverage contracts. And usually when the cost is below zero, that means there's not a whole lot of people that are playing with leverage. And usually what that means is, all the liquidations and everything has been basically cleared out. And that means that Bitcoin is ready to run again, right? So if you look at previous times where the funding rate has gone below zero, they were turning points. They were points where we hit a bottom and we continue further upwards, right? Right now, looks like one of those times. So this is also very positive. What's also positive is we got a major endorsement from Cathie Wood. Cathie Wood now is upping her stance. She originally said 500,000 Bitcoin by 2026. She's like, forget that. Let's go to a full million. So now she's predicting Bitcoin could go to a full million by 2030, which you think about is only in 8 years. Okay, it's not that long. Some of you guys may think that is forever, but 8 years have. I guess the older I get, the more I realize time flies. So I feel like from 2017 till now, it just like kind of flew by, right? The last cycle to now, it just flew by. So Cathie Wood is now predicting that Bitcoin will go to 1 million by 2030. And she has been picking up. Recently, with the sell-off, she's been picking up a lot of tech stocks and Bitcoin. Well, at least Grayscale Trust. So she's putting her money where her mouth is, and she really believes in the future of Bitcoin. And she just looks at the world economy, how there's $100 trillion worth of equities out there, right? And the world's money supply is even more than that. And Bitcoin is still less than 1 trillion. There's a lot of room to grow. So very big endorsement. That's also pretty good. What else is there? Well, there's a couple other things in terms of altcoin news that's pretty good. Number one is the man who was in charge of YouTube gaming is now moving to the head of gaming at Polygon. That's a big move. And a big ad for Polygon. We know Polygon is kind of involved with everything, right? But now they got someone from YouTube, head of the YouTube gaming division, now going to be heading the gaming division of Polygon. So that's pretty positive too. Also, YouTube is gearing to launch NFTs. So this has been talked about for quite some time, and this is coming. So pretty soon, I don't know how they're going to integrate it. You're going to have YouTube and YouTubers be able to create NFTs directly from their account. So this also shows that NFTs are still growing. Volume is still exploding. The interest is still there. And it's quite surprising because I speculated during a correction or a downfall or even crypto winter that NFTs would just basically die out. But this has proven me wrong. In fact, if you look at NFT volume, it's holding and still growing. So it does show that this is not just a fad that's going to go away. This is here to stay. So this is also pretty positive. And lastly, what's positive, what I consider positive, is the IMF is urging El Salvador to remove Bitcoin as legal tender. They cannot stand it. They cannot. They have asked President Bukele to do it before. He ignored them. Now they are urging, almost demanding. And we know that he is not going to cave in. So I consider this positive because it shows that the IMF, which is basically the World Bank, is fearful of Bitcoin. That's also pretty positive endorsement if you think about that. Now, lastly, I did want to talk about Bitcoin dominance. because right now Bitcoin dominance is higher than normal. And when I say that, it's just based on the last few months. In fact, right now, 42.1% is actually lower than early parts of 2021. So it's actually not normal. It's just that versus the last few months. However, the good news about this is that if we do get some positive news and the market rallies, guess what? The altcoins will blow up again. The reason why Bitcoin dominance went up is because there's a lot of fear right now, right? So whenever there's fear, and I've said this before, whenever there's a lot of fear, people tend to gravitate towards Bitcoin, the biggest out there with the most liquidity, right? But it's actually surprising that Bitcoin dominance has not gone up even more, because back in 2021, when Bitcoin fell down to 28,000, Bitcoin dominance was flying up almost to 50%. This time around, it's still hovering at 42%. So not everyone is fearful, but there is a little bit of a flip in terms of Bitcoin gaining more strength at this point. However, that can turn back around, especially with some of these L1s that were oversold within the last week or so. For example, if you look at Ethereum, down 22% versus 13%. There's an opportunity there. Binance down 19%. Cardano down 31%. Solana, not too far off, 29%. And then you go Luna, about 15%. Avalanche, about 19%. Polygon, 27%. So, only Cosmos. Cosmos has been extremely strong. But it shows you that there is definitely opportunity there, right? To still grab things while they're low, possibly before a big flip where we start heading up again. So just think about that. All right. That's pretty much it. Now let's do some Q&A. Did you guys, since everyone's talking about BitBoy, did you guys see him debate that Bitcoin Maxi on Bitcoin Magazine's channel today? I thought at the end he did really well, but at the beginning he was a little frantic, a little too energetic. But you know what? It's hard to debate Bitcoin Maxis. They're just so stubborn. But had I been in his shoes, I think I would have done better. But who knows? Maybe not. But I think I could have presented some counter arguments against whoever he was debating. All right. Let's see here. Scrolling up, let's see. People do not like Cathie Wood's prediction. Hey, 2030, 8 years. That's 2 cycles. 2 more cycles from here. Tanya, love it. No, NFTs will be integrated in everything. I honestly believe that NFTs maybe won't be integrated in everything, but it will be integrated in many, many things. You could use NFT as a universal authenticator. Think about it. Every single website that you use right now, right, uses a different credentials. Think about in the future if they all utilize one single NFT as authentication. How cool would that be, right? There's many things that you can do with it. Any news about Robinhood Wallet? That's supposed to be around the corner. I heard about that. It's supposed to be around the corner, but let's see. What else is there? IMF is a joke. Unfortunately, IMF seems to lend out money to countries and then just puts them in a stranglehold, chains them up, because basically they're at the IMF's mercy, right? And that's what El Salvador is trying to break from, by using Bitcoin. Bukele put a meme response to IMF a few minutes ago. Is it this? No. It's probably under the, yeah, I can't find it right now, but You know he's not gonna cave. That's for sure. Justin, thank you. Someone asked about Shiba. Well, Shiba got their metaverse coming out soon. That should be positive for them. And they're still expanding their NFTs. So that's good. What else is there? Is staking actually worth it? Currently 89%. Well, that sounds like it's worth it, right? But be careful, because when you put into a liquidity pool like that, I don't know what the pair is. You know, with liquidity pool, there's still some danger. First of all, whatever you're receiving, if it goes down more than what you're earning, that's a danger. But also impermanent loss. So whatever the pair is, make sure that there's not a lot of fluctuations between the two. No matter what happens tomorrow, can we meet your cute puppy? They're actually not puppies. One of them was my mom, so I only have one dog right now. Lee says, I hope tomorrow we're not George, we're all effed. That was great. That video actually did really well, but you know, I couldn't hold myself anymore. I had to express myself, and I think a lot of you guys enjoyed that. Did you hear McDonald's go accept Dogecoin? I know they were trying to get forced to. Monet, thank you. Do you think it would be better to just go bear right now to wash out the shit coins? No. Elon is going to get a Happy Meal. I guess he forced it because he was the driving force behind it, I think. So if that happened, great. But I doubt anyone's going to really use Dogecoin at McDonald's. I just don't see it, especially now since it's fallen like, you know, 80 or 90% from its high. Do you think one can reach $1 by end of the year? I don't know. Let's see where it is. Where's Harmony? Harmony has fallen a lot recently. Gonna reach $1 in 1 year, so that's roughly what, 7x, 6x? Yeah, I could see that happening. I mean, I could see Harmony doubling really quick if the market picks up again. So, can it go to $1 in a year? I think that's a possibility. Any reason to have a wallet if you're just holding? Well, there's a lot of reasons. I mean, exchanges do get hacked all the time. Sometimes they ban your account for no reason. You know, having a wallet is still a good idea. You know, if you don't want to mess with hardware wallets, which is the most secure, you could get a mobile wallet. You know, download like the Trust wallet, for example. I use it. I think it's great. And it's very easy. It's on your phone. So you could carry it with you. You could back it up. So at the very least, maybe have some of it on your own wallet rather than leaving all of it on the exchanges. So at least you have some control there. And it just makes things more secure. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, right? What do you think? What do you make of Carl the Moon boosting his wealth on Twitter during the crash the other day? I don't know. I have no idea what Carl's doing. I think I'm not gonna say anything bad about him, but I'll just say this: some crypto YouTubers are really like you're kind of seeing their true colors right now when things aren't so good. So all the things they were preaching about investing and holding, right? They're not following. They're panicking, right? So that's how you could tell. When the market is good, everyone looks like a genius because everything is going up, right? Regardless if you're looking at TA guys or fundamental guys or research guys, whatever. When the market is doing well, everything looks correct, right? But when things aren't doing so good, that's where you can see someone's true colors, right? And we know that some people have been panicking recently, have declared they sold everything, and you know, you could kind of tell, right? So I'm telling you, I've been through this way too many times. Some will call it foolish, right? But I held from 2017 all the way down to 3,000 in 2018, held it to 14,000, and then held it down to 3,800. Made many mistakes, you know, tried to outsmart the market, played with leverage, played with, you know, just doing a lot of swaps here and there. And ultimately what I learned is, had I just kept and hodled and not done any of those things, I would be up way more. So that is what I preach, is because despite the up and downs, as long as you continue to hodl and DCA, if you can, you're going to come out winning, and you're going to win more than everyone else that's trying to outsmart the market. You know, there's a lot of Faded Pole says George acting like he hasn't sold it. I haven't. It's hard to believe, but I haven't. I would have maybe a few years ago, but not right now. You know, there's a lot of people that's throwing a lot of figures about how much they lost. You know, you got to take that with a grain of salt. I think you got to take it with a grain of salt. I mean, I just saw a video from someone that said I lost 100 million, and they did not look like they lost 100 million. And if you had 100 million already in crypto, you wouldn't be streaming on YouTube. Let's be honest about that. So, I mean, you got to be careful about some of these numbers that are being thrown out there. How's your DeFi Kingdom play working out? I'm also taking in beating. What are the chances you're doing live tomorrow? I don't know if I need to do. If it's something like disastrous, you know, then maybe. But I would still probably wait until nighttime. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Or maybe I just don't stream at 11:30 and just stream at 2 o'clock. I could do that. But I don't know if I want to do one right afterwards. But we'll see. The DeFi Kingdom, I mean, it was still paying out good until Jewel started dropping. And again, that's what I warned about. So when I started, Jewel was at... Let me look at it. Jewel was at, I think, $13 or $15. Hold on a second here. Let's do no. Yeah. When I started, Jewel was at $18. So now it's less than half. So, needless to say, I am in the red by staking in DeFi Kingdoms right now. However, you know, it's one of those things where I believe in DeFi Kingdoms. I believe in Harmony. So I haven't stopped. I think that it will come back up. Right? So even though it may be down now, if DeFi Kingdoms climbs back up to 18 or 20 or 22 before, then of course you regain all of that right away, right? So just depends on your time frame, I guess. But I will say that some of the other rebase projects, they have fallen so much where it looks like they will not recover. So just to let you guys know, some people are really into rebase projects. They were promising crazy, you know, APYs, but a lot of them have crashed substantially. So, Kevin, I do appreciate that. Thank you. All right. I think I answered most of these questions. Can ETH go back to 2350 by tonight? That's a very specific question and very limited time frame. 2350. I mean, if Bitcoin comes down a little bit, why would you want it to go down? It's up right now. Can it go down a little more? Sure. Last night, it did the same thing. Last night, when we had a pretty good pump up to about 37.6, it started heading down, and then it dropped about 35.7, and then it started coming up again. Could we see something like that tonight? Sure. But, I mean, this small price movements really mean nothing. I mean, the big one will be tomorrow after the Fed announcement, right? So we're either going to rally significantly or we're not. So it really depends on tomorrow. But I mean, the signs are looking pretty good right now. Bitcoin rally despite Nasdaq falling. That's a big sign. That's a really positive sign. And all the metrics still show that Bitcoin is oversold. That's a pretty positive sign, right? So Bitcoin will show its true colors tomorrow. The ADA gang complaining about being stagnant. Let's pour a drink for my fellow Link Marines. I don't think the ADA gang is complaining about stagnant. It's the non-ADA gang. Have you heard of Lefty Token? Nope, I have not. What time is the meeting? About 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. I think that's right. Around then. Who's my basketball team? I'm embarrassed to say. I mean, my team is the Lakers, but they're just god awful this year. I don't know what to say about the Lakers. They're just really bad, really, really bad. Oh, by the way, I did post this on YouTube and on Facebook, but I'm gonna share it with you guys. You guys know that I run 3 other channels, but one that I'm experimenting with, just having some fun with friends, close friends of mine, and talking about current trends and topics. So I did post another video on Boardroom Live today. So check it out if you haven't and subscribe. And I do have another video that I posted yesterday on I Am George, addressing why so many influencers are fearful and why they've declared they're selling because of wealth protection. But I'm going to give my own spin on why they did it. So if you're interested in hearing that, check that out too. That's it. All right, guys. I'll let you guys go. Would you do a Cosmos review? I have done Cosmos review. I don't have a specific dedicated one, but look at my videos and you'll see under altcoins, you'll see many, many, many times where I talked about Cosmos. Okay. All right. So that's it for tonight. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel. Have a good night, and we're all just go wait to see what happens tomorrow. All right. Come back 11:30 a.m. and we'll have a good old time once again. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. I said that twice. It's okay. Have a good night. Bye-bye.